Mora and Kavod.
Okay. Well, mora is the negative part.
Right.
Kibud is an active
So
part.
don't-
Well, we didn't see under any kibud part that you have to provide kibud through language. That was not, we've talked about kibud, feeding him, dressing him, right? We didn't say it's a special mitzvah of kibud to honor him with words. We didn't say that. But,
Yeah,
but
but it says
moira is a
later-
negative.
But it says later there's a kivut to name somebody after that person.
Okay, hang on.
So name does give kivut.
So using the father's name is a problem with Mora. So, however, the Drisha says it's permitted to call someone with the same name as one's father by name, even in front of his father. If the name is not unique, he still says if it's a unique name, you shouldn't do it in front of the father. If the name is unique, he permits addressing him while not in front of one's father. So let's say the father's name is Alexander, and you have a friend of Alexander, you can call him Alexander as long as it's not in front of your father. If your father's dead, even according to the lenient opinion, you shouldn't do it.
What are you doing by calling him? What exactly is, what do you call?
It's a lack of fear by like your grandchildren calling you Gerard. That's a lack of mora. So that's where this falls.
Whatever your son-in-law calling you Ralph.
So we'll see whether in-law, what is the status as an in-law? Is that considered like kibbud av? So the Shach says shelo b'fonav adrisha kosov de lacherim afilu b'fonav imeno peli shari v'chen b'peli shelo b'fonav. So that's the Shach mentioning the drisha. So although we have seen it's forbidden to refer to one's father by his first name, Rav Nissim Karelitz notes that this applies specifically only when calling or addressing him. However, if someone asks what was one's father's name, it is permitted to say it in a respectful manner with an appropriate title. So, Kishisholim also, B'kriyas Torah, Ma Shem Aviv, they want to call him up for an aliyah. Yashiv B'lashon Kibud, Kigon, Rav Shimon, or Adon Shimon. Adon is like Mister.
Right, that's his
The
job.
Kiyotze
He's
B'zeh.
the one that's gonna call you.
Or
Someone comes up to you, what is your father's name?
Somebody comes up to you
Yes.
and asks, what is your name to be called up? You got to use a respectful name for your
Even though
father.
no one else hears
I have-
it, he's.
I do it every
You
week.
cannot use the
Shabbos-
name.
Shabbos, my father comes to shul and I give him a leader.
Okay?
I'm the Gabi, give him a leader.
So-
So
So you say Abba Moiri, so you
You
say.
say his name? No.
He says that.
You see, I can
So you're allowed to.
Okay,
Okay, let's see. Hang on.
Talking about.
Let's see.
What's your father's?
So Kishisholim also B'kriyas Torah, Mashem Aviv, Yashiv B'lashon Kibud, Kigon, Reb Shimon, or Adon Shimon, the Kiyotze B'zeh. V'hu adin, im sholim b'shar mekomos, Kigon b'misradim, v'chiyotze b'zeh. So you're allowed to give, if somebody asks, what is your father's name? So in a respectful manner, you can
Reb.
say his name.
You have to say
And,
that?
Rebbe.
or Sir, Mr. Adon
No,
Shimon.
when you ask the guy,
If
ask
he's,
you a name.
if he's
You
not
say, "Reb, Kalman
if he's not, so,
Yes.
so we'll see.
Yes.
To say Reb in our vernacular is considered an honorific title that you could use for a father.
Yeah,
You
my
could.
name is Reb for rebel, by the way.
Okay. But for example, Rabbi or Rav or Harav, you know, so, or you could say Adon, or you could say a tie, you know,
Everybody's called up as Red, no?
No, rebel would have got it.
so the Yalkut Yosef.
How do they call it?
We're going to read a footnote. The Yalkut Yosef is even more lenient, allowing one to say one's father's name.
That's a very Hasidic.
Let's see what the Rav Avadia Yosef says. He says he allows you to use the father's name without any title. Im sholu oso ben miata, o ma shem avicha, mutar lomer lahem ben ploni. You can say, I'm the son of Chaim Yankel. Ulahazker shem aviv. Afilu below Torah Rebbe. You don't have to say Rebbe. Kumosh matzinu etzel Yaakov. Shehigid l'Rachel ki ben Rivkahu. He didn't say an honorific for Rivka. V'lachein, im karu lalos l'Torah, ubikshu ladas Hashem aviv, b'kriyas Hashem be'ez aliyah l'Torah k'fi minig Ashkenazim, o ba'amiris mi sheberach achar kriyah minagenu, muter lomar Shem aviv, im muva mitoch dvarv shezehu aviv, kikon she'omer ben ploini ani, v'av sheyesh machmir ze lomar ben Rebbe ploini, mikol mokom ha'ikar kamosh nizbar. Says the footnote, the standard Ashkenazic custom is to call up one receiving a Torah by his Hebrew name, that of his father. For example, Reuven ben Dov. And the Ramah in Or Chaim alludes to this custom. By contrast, Sfardim do not mention the person's name, but simply call them up by whichever number aliyah they
Number
receive.
3.
This is based on the ruling of the Chidah, who was concerned that after being called, one might refuse to accept the aliyah, which according to the Gemara could cause his life to be shortened. His name is only mentioned during the special Mishaberach blessing given to him following the aliyah. Now, he also says the word Adon, in this context in Hebrew, means master, doesn't translate well in English. The closest parallel that one might use for in this context could be sir, but even that is probably not used commonly. Similarly, the term Rebbe or Reb in this context doesn't translate well into English. Colloquially, the term used most often by English speakers is probably Reb, which is how we have translated it here. So this is
Read
this
the
issue
next-
of people
The next
being
one is
close.
interesting. The next is interesting. The next footnote.
I read the next. I read that foot. I read the
No,
17.
the Ashkenaz
No, I
custom.
read 17 before I read 16.
Oh, you did?
I read it.
Oh,
Okay.
where was I?
The Achronim dispute whether one is permitted to say one's father's name when prefacing it with the title father. The Marshal forbids this, while the Aruch HaShulchan and the Yalkut Yosef permits it. So that's your issue, Chaim. So according to the Marshal, you would call up the father just Abba Moiri. You wouldn't use his name. But according to the Aruch HaShulchan, we have a heter, right?
In second grade.
Says the Yam Shel Shlomo, Uva Aviv b'chol inyan osur laskir shmo la'olam, ela avi moiri k'dileil. Vatam she'eno ela av echad. He only has one father. Ben kamokim litos. There's no mistaking. V'yesh makshin al atur shekosav vadoni avi harosh. Lama hiskiru b'shmo. Right? If it's true that you never spoke, you should have just said Adoni Avi. Why did he mention the Rosh? It's a great answer coming up. V'lo kosav avi mori. V'rotzim l'chalek. So first one want to say writing it versus speaking it as two different things.
Well, we know by
So-
Svira.
But they don't like this. So listen to the Marshal. Says the Marshal, Ani Omer, She'ein Raila Divreim, Shehu Iskir B'Loshon Tzach. He mentioned a very nice formulation, B'milas Kavod V'Shvach, V'Adoni Avi HaRosh, Ritzon Lomar, Rosh L'Chol Yisrael. The Rosh was Rav Asher. It wasn't his name. His name was
It's just
his
an
name.
acronym.
So because he was Rosh Shel Kol Yisrael. So this was a huge covet for his father, says the Maral, says the Marshal. So no Rosh Shel Kol Yisrael, V'Lo Shekasav Lo Shomer V'Adoni Avi Rav Ashri, or his name was Rav Asher. So he called him Avi Rosh because Rosh was a acronym that was used for the Rosh because he was Rosh Shel Kol Yisrael, not a raya that you could use his
Way
name.
worse, because his name was Usher.
However, let's see the Orach. So according to the Marshal,
Who was that?
the Yam Shel Shlomo.
Shlomo.
Look, there's a beautiful Rav Shlomo Luria. I was at his kever. He's buried in Lublin. Those of you who've been to Lublin, right next to the
Luria.
You're related to the.
no, the Choiz of Lublin is buried in the cemetery. The Marshal is very close by. When we went on the heritage tour, they're buried in the same place.
related to Rizal?
No. You read the Marshal was in Poland in the 16th century, born in Posen, studied under with Sholem Shachna. He was also the teacher of the Ramah, and he became head of the Lublin Yeshiva. And the Yam Shel Shlomo analyzes all practical halacha in deck, and the Chochmah Shlomo is on Gemara. And he also made a lot of shutim. So he was really one of the greatest Talmudists and poskim in that generation. According to Marshal, the Torah was only permitted to refer to his father as my father, the Rosh, which stands for Rabbeinu Asher in this manner because the Hebrew word Rosh can also mean that he was the head of the Jewish people. But in any other similar case, it would be forbidden to refer to one's father with the title father and then say his name. So you see, Chaim, there's an opposite svara here. By saying Abba Moiri, so everybody knows it's your father, it's dafka maybe more shameful to then use his name. It's probably better to just say Abba Moiri and not to use his name. Or to use his name and not Abba Moiri. But you can't refer to his name because you have to refer to him as Abba Moiri. So that's what the Marshal is saying. But you can, the Aruch HaShulchan is more lenient.
But all this is regarding the father. Now what about the mother?
Well, we are not called, so we're not called.
I know, but how do you refer to your mother? When somebody asks, what's your mother's name?
So we were told that if you're asked directly, you're allowed to, like in an office or something, you can say your father's name. Harold's asking good. We don't have any specific honorific title. You have to say
Imi
Imi Morasi. Imi Morasi, same thing. Same thing.
I still think that, you know, there is a certain recognition that people get when their name is announced. We all know, when your name is announced in shul, in public, right? It gives the person that you're saying a cheshivas, right? If you just refer to some person and you say, you know,
Yeah, but you, who happen to be the gabbai, you saw that even the Rosh Yeshiva giving a drasha in the public had to be careful on how he referred to his father.
But when someone gets an aliyah, it's
So-
already an honorific, that's already.
Well, you gotta indulge.
By saying Abba
either
Moiri,
that
that's
or-
you're getting honor because your father's coming and it shows that you're honoring him. It's just the opposite.
If the caller sees the kid use his name.
His name. It's a halacha regarding Moira. Like we always see in those things. Don't call me by my first name. You know, it's a lack of a certain lack. It's not covet. It's Moira. Says the Aruch. But let's see the Aruch HaShulchan.
There's no end, because then if I use his name, Ben, and then I'm saying my grandfather's name, so it's like you also have an issue with the grandfather. Where do you
Yeah.
stop? Avimori Ben Avimoro? I mean, what do you
No.
stop?
He has to do that. I don't think you would have a problem with that. You wouldn't have a problem with the
Still have
Sapa.
people, you have to keep it with.
When are you
with
saying your grandfather's
grandparents
name? Who's saying your grandfather? When
You
you
don't
say-
have to call it
Says-
grandma. You just have to call that they know who you refer to.
Okay, let's just finish. Let's finish the Aruch HaShulchan. V'tzmeini hamatzina b'sof perak kama de gittin sherav dustoi b'rav Yanai Omar ilu hargu as dustoi minosan liyanai Abba bar Kamoisi. That means he referred to his father just by his first name, Ayin Sham. Rav Shimon bar Yochai Omar ani Omer liyochai Abba. He also called him by his first name. Rav Yossi Omar afilu Abba Chalafta b'neim. Rav Yossi's father was Abba Chalafta. So how could this happen? V'Yakov Omar v'Shem Abu Isai Avraham v'Yitzchak. Ushlomo Omar David Avi. Ulevad zeh halo amru Abba Moiri. Ela Abba Stam.
Maybe he had more than one father.
Oy efshar de kavanosam
Stepfather.
shelo yikra'enu b'shmo levad below Abba. Aval kisha Abba Ploni mutter. So Rav Aruch HaShulchan is saying, well, like a chayim, if you say Abba Ploni, you can use the father's name. The zesha kosvu ela oimer Abba Moiri hu b'dvar halacha kisha omer mishmo shebezeh shayach lemer Moiri. Aval b'mili da alma tzarich lemer Abba Ploni. The mas shayach Moiri lemili da alma v'chein nir ikr. Just as one demonstrates respect for one's parent by not calling him or her by their first name, one can also honor them by naming a child after them. Thus, the Stei Chemet writes that naming a child after one's parent is actually a fulfillment of honoring one's parent. Says the Stei Chemet, "Uprat likros ben beno al shem zekunenu adarab zeu kvodo v'tovas amez v'zichro kasher nagu kin mo'olam umakpidim al zeu umatzin Rav Gamliel azakin kar beno Rav Shimon al shem aviv Rav Shimon kar libno ben Rav Gamliel al shem aviv Rav Gamliel kar libno Rav Shimon al shem aviv." Some Jewish communities, particularly Sephardim, have the custom to name a grandchild after the grandfather. Not only after the grandfather has died, but even while he's still alive. In such a case, the father would then encounter a halachic difficulty of not addressing his son when his father is present. He can't call his son by his name of his father, according to the Rambam and Shulchan Aruch. We just quoted it tonight, right? Though the Shach and Drisha, they would be lenient. For this reason, the father should call his son differently. As Rav Nissen Karelet says, "B'kihilot shekorim shem hatinik al shem hasaba hachai ha'avi kar lifno ba'ofen acher kegon haben sheli or hatinok sheli," and you shouldn't call him by his name. And others resolve it by adding an additional name for the son. For example, if the father's name is Moshe, the son would be called Moshe Chaim. That wouldn't be less of a problem. Okay,
That's not
we'll stop here.
naming it.
Yeshikoyach, Myri.
Joey Fallis